Welcome to Hire Power, the show where we cut through the noise and get real about hiring. I'm Kim Frost, founder of Frost Connections, and after 25 plus years in the search industry, I've seen what works and what absolutely doesn't. If you're a founder, CEO, VP, or HR leader who's tired of bad hires and ready to build a team that actually fits your culture and vision, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. The hard truths about hiring, what no one else will tell you. It's not easy to hear the truth, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to be an exceptional leader. We were retained by a large CPG company to help them build out their executive recruiting function. Historically, they hired internally or through referrals. Eventually, that well runs dry. The CEO was juggling multiple retained firms, all with different processes, and frankly, it was exhausting for him. I stepped in as the go-between to streamline the chaos, align the messaging, and show them how to eventually bring that function in-house, saving not just money, but the CEO's time. But here's the part that stuck with me. A few times I had to deliver hard feedback. A bad interview experience, a candidate who walked away with the wrong impression of the brand. I brought it to the CEO. The CHRO, however, warned me, you can't tell him that. I asked, why not? Because he might not like it? But that CEO, he wanted the good, the bad, and the ugly, because if he didn't hear it, he couldn't fix it. That's leadership. Another client, we were referred to about a potential C-level search, and we were up against the top retained search firm in the world. One of the executives asked, how are you different? I told him, I'll tell you what others won't. We got that search. So let's talk about the hard truths in hiring and how to get it right. Things won't always go smoothly, but instead of avoiding the bumps, use them, learn from them, and most importantly, lead through them. If you want to give a candidate a great experience, whether you hire them or not, let's start with the basics. Review their resume before the interview. I know it sounds simple, it's obvious, but you can't believe how many times the interviewer doesn't do this. And candidates know, just like you know when they didn't prep. Respect goes both ways. Be intentional about your interview team. Don't overload the calendar. Choose people who matter in the decision and who the candidate will actually work with. Then prep that interview team. Assign different focus areas so they're not all asking, walk me through your background. One client nailed this by assigning interviewers to specific core values with custom questions. Candidates noticed and appreciated that. One of the things that we like to do as far as best practices is get the interview team together so the hiring manager has the opportunity to tell the interview team what the position is, why, and what's important. Interestingly, too, we get feedback or the question from the interview team will say, why do we need this position? Or what are you looking for? After the interview, give the interview feedback quickly. Our clients commit to getting feedback to us within 2 business days. Whether it's a yes, no, or maybe, communicate it. Don't make someone wait 2 weeks just to hear we're going in another direction. And if you're unsure, don't ghost them. Dig deeper. Have someone else ask the follow-up question. Trust your instincts, but verify them. When it's time to offer, make your best offer. If your recruiter's done their job, you should already know where the candidate stands. I always tell my clients, don't lowball. That's totally a thing of the 90s. And think of it this way. Would you want that to be done to you? If there's a reason you can't meet expectations for things as internal equity issues, budget, growth trajectory, be transparent. One of our clients had to bring in a peer level hire at the same comp range as their team. They handled it respectfully and explained the logic. It landed well and the candidate accepted. Small things matter a lot. If a candidate is on site over lunch, offer them food. One of our clients would hand out a small welcome kit when the candidate arrived for their interview. All it was a little bag with water, snacks, a mint, though not gum. And then we closed out the interview by giving them another little bag with a branded water bottle in a fun, bright color. That little gesture, candidates were blown away. They always mentioned to me, wow, I've never had this experience before. It's really not about the stuff, it's about the thoughtfulness. Validate their parking, walk them out. Would you not walk your guests out of your home? Show them how you treat people because that's what they'll remember, whether you hire them or not. So here's a few more things just as important and absolutely what you need to consider as an exceptional leader. Because the hard truths don't stop at resume reviews and interview logistics. I've seen it time and time and again. Companies say they want the best hire, but their process, that tells a different story. So here are a few more truths that hiring leaders need to hear, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. Sidebar, a great recruiter, even though tough, will tell you these hard truths. Truth number one, your interview process says more about your company than your website. If it's clunky, unclear, disjointed, candidates assume how you operate. One of the most common pieces of feedback I hear from strong candidates, I love the company, but the process felt disorganized. I had two clients. One is I had a candidate that had to interview with 10 people and multiple times. This demonstrated how that leader functioned, but also how the company executed. I had another candidate that the hiring manager wanted to meet for the third time. And he said to me, Kim, what's really going on? Obviously, if he still has questions, that's a problem. Truth number two, top candidates are interviewing you too. This isn't a one-way street. The most sought after professionals aren't actively looking. They are assessing leadership talent, clarity, and culture. They're picking up on the tone, how fast you follow up, how aligned your team is. I had another candidate that interviewed with the CEO of the company. The CEO took that person on the tour of their warehouse. The candidate came back and told me that the CEO said hello to everybody that they walked by and knew everybody's name. That really stood out to the candidate. And don't forget, they have options too. Truth number three, the best candidates don't always have perfect resumes. If you're filtering only for Ivy League, big tech, or as I mentioned, check every box, you're probably missing the person who can actually solve the problem you're hiring for. I've placed incredible people who were overlooked because they didn't check the traditional boxes, but they crushed it on the performance side. Truth four, culture fit is not about who you get a beer with. Oh my God, this is the one that drives me crazy. I say tongue in cheek, well, what if they don't drink? Let me say that again for people in the back. Culture fit is about shared values, not shared hobbies. Using fit as a reason to reject someone often masks biases, unconscious or not. However, I do get it that you may want to share a meal with somebody or get to know them. That speaks differently, that lands differently. Truth number five, candidates can feel when you're distracted. If you're checking your phone, coming in late, or half engaged, they know. That energy stays with them, and they'll take it into their decision-making process. Hang on with me. We got just a few more. Truth number six. If you don't know what success looks like in your role, you're not ready to hire. You need more than a list of duties. You need a clear definition of success. That's why we take a job description, or we don't have a job description, and we write what success looks like a year out and break it down to 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That also acts as your KPI when you are evaluating that candidate, that hire at the end of the year. And I will tell you that 99% of the candidates that we talk to that review our success profile say that's the best, I'm air quoting here, job description they've ever seen. Truth number 7, if your team isn't aligned, your offer will fall apart. I've seen this happen too often. We're in the home stretch. The candidate makes it to the end, and suddenly there's internal disagreement on comp, title, or even reporting structure. Handle that before the job even goes to market. Truth number 8, not making a decision is a decision. Dragging things out, that's a decision to lose momentum and likely the candidate. They read the silence as a lack of interest or internal dysfunction. Don't let that indecision cost you talent. And think of it this way: how bad do you need this position if it takes you weeks, and I'm sorry to say even months, to make that decision? I love this one. Truth number 9, a maybe is a no. If your gut says, trust it. Hiring a maybe almost always leads to regrets. And now you've cost time, money, and morale to fix a problem that didn't need to happen. Last one, truth number 10, bad interviewers drive away great candidates. If your team isn't prepared, as we talked about before, respectful, or consistent, it can derail even the most promising hire. I've had candidates withdraw because someone on the panel was dismissive or didn't understand the role. Interviewing is a skill. We need to teach it. We need to expect it. These truths might sting a little, but they do matter. Because if you're trying to build a high-performing team, and more importantly, a strong employer brand, your hiring process has to reflect that. And your hiring process kicks off that brand. And if you're not sure where to start by being willing to hear the hard truths. That's where every great leader begins. My philosophy has always been be honest, be direct, be transparent, but always with compassion. We need to say the hard things. That's how we get better. That's how we lead. And big thanks to Nick Anderson from One Accord, who once said it best: truth with compassion. That's the bar. Thanks for listening. If you found this helpful, or if you're a leader who's ready to turn your hiring process into a competitive advantage, reach out. I'd love to talk. That's it for this episode of Hire Power. If you're ready to hire smarter, connect with me at frostconnections.com or at LinkedIn at Kim Frost. And if you've got something to say about today's episode, follow the show and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, hire smart, lead better, and remember, how you hire is who you become. See you next week. No fluff, just better hires.